on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My dad kidnapped me and held me hostage.
At the compound, they say, he built in preparation for the end of the world.
I was in the middle of nowhere. I didn't have my phone. I was in a trailer with no running water.
Was he protecting his son
You tried to convince me I was in a cannabis-induced psychosis.
or isolating him?
What right do you have to take him away from his family?
That's not accurate at all. He came up to be with me.
I never came up willingly. I was kidnapped.
If you're gonna lie, then we're never gonna be able to move forward.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, thank you. Well, Peter says that he is a loving father who cares deeply about protecting his 34-year-old son, Jarrell, who he recently brought to his second home located on 34 acres in eastern Arizona. But Jarrell and his wife, Tricia, claim Peter kidnapped Jarrell, forcing him to stay not at his home, but at the compound he built in preparation for the end of the world. Now, Jarrell claims ever since he has resisted his father's religious beliefs, his dad treats him like he is mentally unhinged. Take a look.
My dad absolutely kidnapped me and held me hostage. This was his attempt to get me back into the Mormon church, away from marijuana. I believe he did think that I was using too much cannabis.
Peter called me and told me that God told him that Jarrell was in a cannabis-induced psychosis. He diagnosed Jarrell off snippets of behavior, feelings, and a prayer to God. And he has no medical degree. I think my father-in-law's nuts.
A few months ago, I went to a friend's house for a party.
I was told that Jarrell was acting very strange, behaving like the Karate Kid, climbing trees and taking his clothes off.
Peter was under the impression that Jarrell needed to be saved from this cannabis-induced psychosis.
When I left the party, my dad arranged to have my keys, my phone, and my wallet separated from me. And he also arranged for me to be taken to his remote property, 3 hours away, where my dad owns 30 acres of land. I was flipping out. I tried to get out of the car multiple times. My only other option was to kick out a window on the freeway or to somehow crash us all by jumping up and trying to take over the vehicle. I said, Dad, I am not staying up here. Why are you kidnapping me? I was in the middle of nowhere. I didn't have my phone. I was in a trailer with no running water. I was literally just held hostage.
Peter called me to let me know what's going on. He told me that Jarrell was in a cannabis-induced psychosis. He was going to have Jarrell live up there for a while so then he can come out of this psychosis.
My dad controlled absolutely everything.
Peter insisted that if I talked to Jarrell, I would make him want to leave. Peter told me, Tricia, this is life or death, and I need to do whatever it takes to save his life.
My dad tried to use his priesthood powers to sacrifice demons that were haunting me. I was telling him, don't you see, you don't have any power over me. I'm who I am. I'm not going through any psychosis.
I was frightened. I was distraught, and I had no idea what was going to happen next.
Jarrell claims that after 3 nights being held hostage, as he calls it, at his father's compound, his dad then involuntarily committed him to a psych ward.
Right after I was released from the hospital, I was handcuffed by the police and involuntarily admitted into a psych hospital.
He was erratic. Sometimes his behavior was off the charts.
Peter 100% admitted to me that he exaggerated everything to get Jarrell admitted into the psychiatric hospital.
I spent 7 days at the psych hospital. It was a true nightmare. After I left the psychiatric hospital, I refused to stay on my dad's property. He ended up taking me to a homeless shelter. It was 9 days after I got to the homeless shelter that Tricia came and picked me up. Now that I'm back home, it's been really hard. I think my dad was totally off his rocker. He committed felony crimes against his son, and he thought he was above the law. I told my entire story to the police, and I am pressing charges against my dad for kidnapping, grand theft, and unlawful use of a vehicle. I totally feel my dad has gone off the deep end.
Well, it's good to meet you both.
Pleasure.
Has anyone other than your father told you that you're psychotic?
Absolutely not.
Have you believed him to be psychotic?
No, I've never seen him be psychotic.
And
But Peter convinced us that he was psychotic.
Okay, and what training does your father have in the diagnosis of psychosis?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely no.
What training does he have in mental health?
Nothing.
None that I know of.
What training does he have in cannabis-induced psychosis?
I think he got on Google one day and Googled something and found an article.
And he said, and he had a prayer to God, and God told him and confirmed that Jarrell was in a cannabis-induced psychosis.
Okay, but he is a loving father. You don't doubt
Absolutely.
that he
No.
loves you, right?
No, I don't doubt that at all.
You say he kidnapped you. He took you against your will.
Yeah, it wasn't him that was driving, but I was taken absolutely against my will.
Saying that he finally got you calmed down. It looked like you were asleep. Everybody sleeps pretty
Calmly, yeah.
peacefully.
Yeah.
What did you do while you were there?
I mean, I was rebellious. I said, you can't keep me up here. You know, I
Right.
had work the same day they brought me up, and I did kind of fight it because I thought it was just really like unlawful imprisonment. I was forced to stay up there until he felt that I was out of my psychosis, which could take 6 months to a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was trying to convince me at the time that I was in a cannabis-induced psychosis. And I kept telling him, what do you think I think is going on that is not going on? I think I'm just been kidnapped and held hostage.
Have you had hallucinations?
Never, not one hallucination, not one delusion.
Have you had auditory hallucinations where
No.
you hear things that they're
Absolutely
not really
not.
there? He said you were talking to people that weren't there.
Absolutely not.
Have you ever seen him do that?
No, and no. I've been with him over 10 years, and I've never seen him do one loony thing like that.
Did Peter let you speak to Jarrell?
No, he prevented me talking to Jarrell, and it was always his terms when I could talk to him, or our children can talk to him, and he said that I would be a trigger into wanting to get him to come home.
What precipitated this? 'Cause look, I just can't believe that your dad's just sitting at home in his lazy boy, watching TV, and says, I think I'll just go snatch my son, take him out in the desert.
No, I think it was rumors.
He heard rumors from others.
Correct.
That you were behaving inappropriately.
Correct.
But even that's a big leap to saying, I need to take him out of the game of life and into the desert for 6 months to a year.
You're telling us.
Yeah, well, now, you communicated with Peter via text. You said, hey, how are things going? When can we talk to Jarrell? Peter said, in about 1 hour, I'll give you thumbs up emoji, going up and down, but overall good. You say, okay. And Peter says, Tricia, we just have to wait and see how he responds over time. It's too early to tell. And you said, okay, so no FaceTime with the kids today? Can you at least call me? I'm really struggling and worried over here. I know you have your hands full, so when you have a chance. Peter, if he falls asleep, I'll call then.
How convenient if he falls asleep because he's wanting to keep Jarrell isolated from everybody else.
He tried to tell everyone else that I'm in this psychosis, and if she talked to me, she'd realize that I'm not in a psychosis, that my dad is the one that's in a psychosis for thinking I'm in a psychosis.
Okay, well, Jarrell's father, Peter, has been listening backstage, and I'm guessing there's another point of view here. We're going to find out why he brought his son to his compound from his point of view when we come back.
Jarrell does need Dr. Phil's help. When my son arrived on the property, he was in a marijuana-induced psychosis.
Hey, Jarrell, come on in, bud. It's raining.
It started to rain.
Jarrell, there's lightning. Get in here.
He would just get super erratic. He needs to see me as his father and not as a criminal.
And later,
You
It's
are
up there.
saying a whole bunch
I will
of
take a
stuff here,
lie
Doc.
detector test. You're full of it.
That's the same day that you had me involuntarily admitted into the hospital.
You're spinning
of
a
your,
great,
of your,
a great
of
story
the town
here,
that
but
you were
it's
in.
completely
It's the same day.
Something about the Playboy brand had a little bit more of a mystique to it.
It's a ticket to the highlight.
Not can you prepare you for that?
The Playboy Murders, all new series, Monday, January 23rd at 10 on ID.
This is your chance. You keep her alive. Save her, you can save her.
You've come this far, and you know what's out there.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
People gonna talk in D.C.
They're claiming the Samuels are looking to divorce.
Him and his dad are not speaking.
Wait. Welcome.
We're gonna be out on our own little island. It's called peace.
I'm gonna go before I whip your
The
ass.
sisterhood just went out the window.
I'm back. Didn't own that. And again.
Love and Marriage DC returns Saturday, January 21st at 8/7 Central.
To Beth for telling us about Peptiva Nighttime Probiotics.
To Beth.
Welcome, ladies. You know, the best thing about Peptiva is that I can digest food like a kid again.
No, the best thing is that I get to sleep like a kid again.
Digestion. Ladies.
With Peptiva, you get both.
Peptiva is the first doctor-formulated probiotic that works at night with key ingredients backed by 7 clinical studies. And right now, you can get a complimentary sample by texting CUBE to 369369. Peptiva works while you sleep to soothe indigestion, cramping, bloating, even constipation, while promoting digestive health. And it has time-released melatonin to help you get the best sleep of your life.
Okay, girls, what do we have next week?
Tacos.
Wings, chili.
Peptiva is flying off the shelves at GNC, but you can only get your complimentary sample by texting CUBE to 369369. Text now, and we'll include a box of Peptiva digestive enzymes to help your body digest meals and avoid occasional gas and discomfort absolutely free. That's CUBE to 369369.
There is nothing hotter than real, honest to goodness love.
Mama wanna tell you where it's at. I wanna get that.
I was made for this.
Get with it or get lost. You dropped the ball big time.
I'm throwing y'all my very own Miami yacht party.
It just shook up all of the dynamics.
Y'all ready for this?
If you ever found out that Marcel cheated on you, would you leave him?
I think that was too far. If you thought part 1 was shocking,
It became a thing, a really big thing.
I get ganged up on.
Love and Marriage Huntsville is back
As if Melody ever held accountability for anything ever.
with more
They're both wrong.
reunion
Don't play with me, girl.
drama.
You call me all the time about other issues, do you not?
Love and Marriage Huntsville, new reunion part 2, Saturday at 8/7 Central.
If you were to ask me, my father-in-law, Peter's crazy.
He does and says crazy things. He believes the earth is flat.
I think Peter's ideas are loony. I think he is completely nuts.
My dad believes. The lines in the sky that a plane leaves are chemtrails that are controlling our atmosphere by the government.
Peter loves to gossip. Any new information he gets, he will spread it like wildfire. Peter exaggerates everything, and he twists everything. Jarrell cannot move forward from what has happened because Peter continues to lie and deny and justify what he has done to us and to Jarrell.
Well, Jarrell says his father Peter took him and held him against his will at his compound and then committed him to a psych ward because he felt Jarrell was in a cannabis-induced psychosis. Now, here's what Peter has to say.
It's important that everybody understand what really happened. The things that Jarrell says about me are not accurate. I simply tried to help him, and I never held him against his will. When my son arrived on the property, I was convinced that he was in a marijuana-induced psychosis. He was psychotic, the way he was looking, the way he talked to me. Jarrell told me that God had told him that no matter what happened, he could never be hurt, and that I needed to listen to him, that there was God, there was Jesus Christ, and then there was Jarrell.
Hey, Jarrell, come on in, bud. It's raining.
At one point, it started to rain, and he took off his shirt. Lightning bolts started to hit. He said, "Nothing can harm me."
Jarrell, there's lightning. Get in here.
He sort of looked back in defiance and was waiting for a lightning bolt to strike him. He would just get super erratic and start screaming and yelling. Sometimes he would be talking to people that weren't there. You could say he was hallucinating. That continued for 3 days, maybe 4. Eventually, he was put into the psychiatric hospital. Jarrell does need Dr. Phil's help. I love my son and tried to care for him. I did not commit any criminal acts against him. He needs to see me as his father and not as a criminal.
Well, Peter, it's good to meet you. So I'm really curious because it seems that what you did, the actions you took, were extreme.
There's another whole side to this story.
I'm anxious to hear it.
So, this wasn't the first time I've experienced Jarrell having drugs and being psychotic, so that's the first thing.
Okay, let me stop you so we can do this step by step. How did you determine he was psychotic?
He was talking to people that weren't there. He was screaming. He was yelling. But prior to that time, he was showing behavior that was really alarming. Just really heightened responses, very agitated. And so, you know, I could see that he was suffering. I asked him weeks before, you know, I knew he was smoking a lot of weed, and I was concerned about that. So I asked him, you know, how much are you using? How often? And he was like, I smoke at night, I smoke in the morning, I smoke if Tricia and I get in an argument, I smoke. So there was a lot of responses to how often he was doing it, and that prompted me to think, he's pounding this stuff pretty hard, and this is affecting his behavior.
What day did you go to the compound?
Well, it's not a compound. It's a piece of property.
What day did you go to the 32-acre piece of property in the desert?
I was
that
up.
We're hunkering down for the second coming.
Well, I went up Wednesday or Thursday of that week. So I was up there working on my property. You can see the picture here, trying to develop a new house for my wife and I.
For the second coming.
No, Tricia, it's not that simple.
It's the truth.
Okay. You guys want to attack me or listen to what I have to say?
No, it's the truth. That's just what that's what you're building
reality
it for.
of what's going on.
That's what you're doing it for.
Hold on. Let me ask. So this was August 12th?
The 12th is the day he arrived.
Yep.
But he's in a cannabis-induced psychosis, right?
I'm explaining what's happening here.
No, actually, you're not.
I'm trying to.
But, okay, but you did take him there on a certain date.
I didn't take him.
He was brought there on a certain date.
That you guys arranged.
Okay, and that was this year, correct?
This is just in August.
Because he was seen at the Regional Medical Center in August also. I don't know if they have the same training that you do about this, but they said that the patient has experienced some situational problems, but he was not found wandering, that he is compliant, that he has not been sleeping, but that he's not showing any extreme anxiety, not showing anger, not showing paranoia. There's no delusion. There are no suicidal thoughts. There's no self-injury inflicted. There are no hallucinations, and that his symptoms are described as mild.
Yeah, he came out, of course, and ran away from me. And what's the first thing you said?
I have a bus pass, and I'm going back to my life.
And did you say, I want weed, I want weed,
get
me my weed?
I never ever said that. You kept saying, trying to get me to go in your car and tell me that you would get me weed if I hopped in.
No.
And then I said, I don't care about the weed. I just want to go home.
Well, the only thing I'm pointing out here is because this is the only person that's not you or you. It's an independent person of some sort. And they do say the father states that Jarrell is going to be misdiagnosed if we do not speak to the father. Did you say you need to speak to me, or are you going to misdiagnose him?
I asked for the doctors to come see me. Yes, I did. Yeah, but here again, I just want to make the point that he came up to be with me. They brought him here because his behavior was very alarming, very shocking.
I never came up willingly. I was kidnapped.
Okay.
You tried to convince me I was in a
accurate.
cannabis-induced psychosis.
What right do you have to take this young man away from his wife, away from the children, and then not let her have contact with him? And later...
I'm not doing that, but you go make that claim.
Why are you even here? If you're gonna lie and not take accountability and continue to spin and deny, then we're never gonna be able to move forward.
Coming January 21st.
The Samuels are looking to the D word, divorce, separate, something like that.
Did they say divorce or separate? What? We just had a whole show prep with our producer, and no one told me he was going to bring us up live on the air today.
She says that her and her husband are trying to fix their marriage of denying any divorce rumors.
All marriages go through stuff. Does that mean we're separated or getting divorced? Absolutely not.
Love and Marriage DC. New episodes Saturday, January 21st at 8/7 Central.
People love Denia.
It's right there in her diary. I want to be a famous actor, singer, producer. One day she goes, hey, my agent wants me to go to this cheerleading audition.
Santana wasn't supposed to be this big character on the show.
It was obvious to me that she was going to be a big star.
And then all of a sudden, Naya Rivera was reported missing.
They were praying that she would be found.
The Price of Glee, 3-part limited series, Monday, January 16th at 9 on ID.
Hello, welcome to T-Town. Like men over 40 everywhere. These guys experience a drop in testosterone. Don't worry, it happens to all of us. Some guys took my advice about how to boost their testosterone, and some didn't. This guy got the message loud and clear.
That's right, Nugenix Total T.
Nugenix Total T is the unique patented formula powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to boost free testosterone, to help you feel stronger, leaner, with more muscle and drive. Nugenix is #1 doctor recommended, #1 at GNC, and #1 at Walmart. But you can only get your complimentary bottle by texting GIANT to 321321.
Thanks. It'll make you feel like a new man. And by the way, she'll like it too.
Get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix now. Text GIANT to 321321. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free.
If you ever found out that Marcel cheated on you, would you leave him?
I think that was too far.
If you thought part 1 was shocking,
It became a thing, a really big thing. I get ganged up on.
Love and Marriage Huntsville is back.
And see if Melody ever held accountability for anything ever.
With more.
They're both wrong.
Reunion.
Don't play with me, girl.
Drama.
You call me all the time about other issues, do you not?
Love and Marriage Huntsville. New Reunion Part 2. Saturday at 8/7 Central.
There is nothing hotter than real, honest to goodness love.
Mama wanna tell you where it's at. I wanna get that.
I was made for this.
Get with it or get lost. You dropped the ball big time.
I'm throwing y'all my very own Miami yacht party.
It just shook up all of the dynamics.
Y'all ready for this?
Something about the Playboy brand had a little bit more of a mystique to it.
It's a ticket to the highlight.
Love can prepare you for that.
The Playboy Murders, all new series, Monday, January 23rd at 10 on ID.
LeBron, he on vacation. How about we do the party here in the King's house? Oh! Hey there. Bro. We gonna invite all the celebrities. Sweet black baby Jesus.
Have you seen how out of control this party is? Are you not entertained? We done messed up the koala. You good? What just happened?
House party. You handled the decision to go to Miami perfectly.
Nah.
Rated R, January 13th.
Peter believes the world's coming to an end, and you better be ready.
My dad listens to a lot of podcasts about end time. He used to think the world was going to end in 2016. Didn't happen.
The second coming of Christ is something that will happen eventually for all Christian believers.
Yes, a couple years ago, he wrote a preparedness manual. This is the second coming binder, and it has just all his thoughts, the prophet's visions, all these things he's compiled, and then he's put his own thoughts into it. He says if we don't come with him, then we can keep his house, live in his house, as long as we pay the utilities. And that was our plan B. They had a much nicer custom home, and we were thinking, well, at least we'll get a nice custom home out of this, you know, for a few years while he's up there.
It's basically a survival guide for the end of the world.
Yeah, my dad does plan to use the land that was held hostage as a compound.
I don't push my belief. I have shared it with my family.
I finally got so annoyed with Peter, I told him, I don't give a the world ends, just leave us the hell alone.
The friction really started when you left the church.
Yeah.
And that he's not comfortable with you not being in the church.
Ever since I left, he's made it his life goal to save me and to bring me back into the church. And we've had just countless hours of religious talk, yeah.
And then along the way, you've decided that he, in fact, has had these psychotic episodes, and you think it's due to the marijuana.
Well, that's the common thing that he's abusing.
Peter submitted this video to show evidence of what he claims is Jarrell's cannabis-induced psychosis.
Hey, Jarrell, come on in, bud. It's raining.
Dad, get your ass in there and quit worrying about it.
Just come on in.
I'll do whatever the I want.
All right. It's pouring. Thank you for putting your shirt on. Jarrell, there's lightning. Get in here.
Okay.
You have to understand, I have been in the hospital with this young man twice where he's been on life support, in comas, with the doctor saying, we don't know if he'll wake up or not. He's abused drugs.
Not from drugs.
From drugs that put him in the hospital because he was in the car.
I was not on drugs.
Excuse me. The motorcycle in Scottsdale.
I was never charged with anything. I was a motorcycle accident.
Forget about the charges.
No, I was never under the influence of anything.
You came home from a night at the casino. You'd been drinking,
I came home from the night at the
doing
casino.
drugs.
I had not been
you
drinking
ran
or
in
doing
back
drugs.
Of a truck with your
truck
motorcycle.
pulled in front of me.
No, you ran into the back of a truck. The point I'm trying to make here is that you've had serious heroin addiction. You've had...
I'm 8.5 years clean and sober, though. Come on, give me a credit.
But it's not that simple, is it, son?
I guess it's not.
This picture that you painted is like, I sat there and conspired to bring you up and hold you against your will.
You had him in the back of the car and bring him up.
Have anybody do anything.
You told me he had the bright idea to get him, trick him that his car is up there.
You are saying a whole bunch of
I will take a lie detector test. You're full of it.
I couldn't just get you into a hospital, okay?
What do you mean?
My words alone aren't going to do it.
Dad, the day I was released from this hospital that he just told me to, that I was totally non-hallucination, that's the same day that you went and had me involuntarily admitted into the hospital.
You're spinning a great story
of the town that you were in.
Completely
it's the same day.
Okay,
was it not the exact same day?
Let me ask a question here. You're saying he's spinning this, but what right do you have to take this gainfully employed young man away from his wife, away from the children, and then not let her have contact with him? What is your right to do that?
First off, I didn't do that.
Whether they brought him up there, whatever, you have him up there, he's at your place, you will not let his wife speak to him. You say she's going to trigger him. How do you know all of this?
You're taking one moment in a big amount of time there, and you're saying that in that one moment I somehow was always denying. That's not accurate at all.
You're in control.
So let's get it. No.
Yes, you were. You dictated when we could talk.
Will you let me talk for a minute?
But
no, you've been talking
everything.
a lot, but you're not saying very much.
Okay.
You really, seriously. You've had a lot of time to filibuster here, but you keep not saying very much. The point is, are you saying that you did not have him up there under your control on your property?
I am saying that.
Okay, so he was just there and forgot that he went up there on his own?
No.
Okay, and are you saying that you didn't go and have him involuntarily committed to a psych ward?
What I did was try and keep him safe.
Well, Jarrell claims he is trying to press charges against his father now, but was there a crime committed? And what about all of this religious ideation and confrontation? We're going to talk about that next, and I have someone else here that has studied this case independently, read everything about it, that knows a lot more about this particular church than I do. We're going to add him to the conversation when we come back. Closed captioning provided by...
People gonna talk in D.C.
They're claiming the Samuels are looking to divorce.
Him and his dad are not speaking.
Wait.
Welcome.
We're going to be out on our own little island. It's called peace.
I'm gonna go before I whip your
The
ass.
sisterhood just went out the window.
I'm back.
Then own that.
Again. Love and Marriage DC returns Saturday, January 21st at 8/7 Central.
If you ever found out that Marcel cheated on you, would you leave him?
I think that was too far.
If you thought part 1 was shocking,
It became a thing, a really big thing.
I get ganged up on.
Love and Marriage Huntsville is back
And see if Melody ever held accountability for anything ever.
with more
They're both wrong.
reunion
Don't play with me, girl.
drama.
You call me all the time about other issues, do you not?
Love and Marriage Huntsville, new reunion part 2, Saturday at 8/7 Central.
There is nothing hotter than real, honest to goodness love.
Mama wanna tell you where it's at. I wanna get that.
I was made for this.
Get with it or get lost.
You dropped the ball big time.
I'm throwing y'all my very own Miami yacht party.
It just shook up all of the dynamics.
Y'all ready for this?
People loved Maya.
It's right there in her diary. I want to be a famous actor, singer, producer. One day she goes, hey, my agent wants me to go to this cheerleading audition.
Santana wasn't supposed to be this big character on the show.
It was obvious to me that she was going to be a big star.
And then all of a sudden, Naya Rivera was reported missing.
They were praying that she would be found.
The Price of Glee, 3-part limited series, Monday, January 16th at 9 on ID.
Our worth is not given. It must be made.
This is your chance, our best shot.
Surprise! This is gonna be one of the best nights of my life!
I kneel before no one.
This is your chance. You keep her alive. Save her, you can save her.
You come this far, then you know what's out there.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
My wife Tricia and I, we have 3 kids.
Since the kidnapping, Peter has not had any contact with the grandchildren. My fears with Peter around the kids is he tends to overstep his boundaries.
Jarrell says he's not going to let us see them, which is a detriment to them because they need their grandparents.
My worst fear would be that he just takes them and plant the bug in their ear about the Mormon religion.
No, I'm not going to kidnap the grandchildren.
If things don't change immediately, I will not have a relationship with him, and I will not allow my children to have a relationship with him.
My dad said he's going to put a roller coaster on his property, and it's going to be to entertain them. They're going to be able to woo on a roller coaster and barrels of candy for the kids. I don't know if he thinks he's Michael Jackson or what.
Jarrell and his wife Tricia say they truly believe that his father committed a crime when they say that he was kidnapped and taken to this place in the desert and held against his will. Now, you might recognize my next guest as the locator and also a relationship expert bringing families together. I want to add to the conversation a good friend of mine. Please welcome Troy Dunn. Troy, come up and join us. Troy, how are you, sir?
I'm blessed, friend.
And there's been apparently a lot of tension between these two about Jarrell leaving the church. That's not made you happy, right?
No, it's not a big issue for me, despite what they're saying.
I'm the only one who is out of it, by the way.
Yeah. You're a member of the church, correct?
So you know, as you know, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I've been a member 40 years. I'm not an official spokesperson for the church.
I understand.
Nor do I play one on TV. But I can't help but listen to a lot of this, and I don't know that necessarily the church itself is really the issue between the three of you, but I would say to both of you, I see some inconsistencies. Are you an active member of the church?
Oh,
would you classify yourself active?
Oh, sure.
So you grew up in the church?
I grew up, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few principles in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that are completely contrary to the things that I hear. And I'm not here to attack you. But I also feel like you live in a different reality than I do inside that faith system. And I thought maybe I would just remind you of a couple of things that might also bring some peace to you, because I sense that your bitterness and your frustration isn't necessarily about the church. It's how desperately he's trying to make you come back into it. Is that
I have
fair?
a lot of LDS member friends.
So I have 8 children, 28 down to 6, and 7 of them are active members in the church, and 1 is not, very not. Love her just the same. Never discuss the church with her. That's just her personal decision. So one of the principles in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that and I know you can finish some of these sentences for me, I believe, is that we believe in agency, right?
Of course, but that's not something that I'm denying him or pushing on him.
So the concept of agency, for those who aren't familiar with it, is that we believe that from the beginning of time that everybody has an opportunity in their life to choose their own path. Period. That's it. There is no but, right? So I don't know what the definition of choose your own path is. I would think that probably falls short of abduction, but that's your interpretation. There's a second rule, and I'll let you finish the sentence, right? It's one of the things we're taught about how to parent our children, which is that we teach them correct principles and then
let them govern themselves.
Let them govern themselves. The third thing that I thought you would be interested in being reminded of, so we have a book of scripture that's called the Doctrine and Covenants, and there's a section in there that talks about unrighteous dominion, that you force your will upon somebody else.
Sure. I'm not doing that, but you go make that claim.
No, I'm not making a claim. I'm asking you.
You are doing it since we've left the church.
You've done it ever since I've left.
You discredit our relationship with God that we feel that we have, and we express to you, oh, it's 100% true. Quit. Why are you even here? If you're going to lie and not take accountability and continue to spin and deny, then we're never going to be able to move forward.
This picture they're painting is just not accurate.
The picture you're painting that he's in a psychosis isn't accurate.
You overrun me every time I try and say something, so let me talk.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
You are.
Closed captioning provided by...
I can't believe we're cleaning LeBron's house. How about we throw a party here?
This is a really bad idea.
He got a hologram of himself.
You handled the decision to go to Miami perfectly.
Nah.
House party, rated R.
We need to get over here now. They just shot 3 people.
Coming January 21st.
The Samuels are looking to the D word, divorce, separate, something like that.
Did they say divorce or separate? What? We just had a whole show prep with our producer, and no one told me he was going to bring us up live on the air today.
She says that her and her husband are trying to fix their marriage of denying any divorce rumors.
All marriages go through stuff. Does that mean we're separated or getting divorced? Absolutely not.
Love and Marriage DC. New episodes, Saturday, January 21st at 8/7 Central.
To Beth for telling us about Peptiva Nighttime Probiotics.
To Beth.
Welcome, ladies. You know, the best thing about Peptiva is that I can digest food like a kid again.
No, the best thing is that I get to sleep like a kid again.
Digestion.
Ladies,
with Peptiva, you get both.
Peptiva is the first doctor-formulated probiotic that works at night with key ingredients backed by 7 clinical studies. And right now, you can get a complimentary sample by texting CUBE to 369369. Peptiva works while you sleep to soothe indigestion, cramping, bloating, even constipation, while promoting digestive health. And it has time-released melatonin to help you get the best sleep of your life.
Okay, girls, what do we have next week?
Tacos.
Wings. Chili.
Peptiva is flying off the shelves at GNC, but you can only get your complimentary sample by texting CUBE to 369369. Text now, and we'll include a box of Peptiva digestive enzymes to help your body digest meals and avoid occasional gas and discomfort absolutely free. That's CUBE to 369369.
Sunday, it's the tell-all finale.
So are you separated?
Cody and I have separated, and I'm happy.
Can't you fix it?
The Sister Wives tell-all finale, Sunday at 10 on TLC.
If you ever found out that Marcel cheated on you, would you leave him?
I think that was too far.
If you thought part 1 was shocking,
It became a thing, a really big thing.
I get ganged up on.
Love and Marriage Huntsville is back.
And see if Melody ever held accountability for anything ever.
With more.
They're both wrong.
Reunion.
Don't play with me, girl.
Drama.
You call me all the time about other issues, do you not?
Love and Marriage Huntsville. New Reunion Part 2. Saturday at 8/7 Central.
There is nothing hotter than real, honest-to-goodness love.
Mama wanna tell you where it's at. I wanna get that.
I was made for this.
Get with it or get lost. You dropped the ball big time.
I'm throwing y'all my very own Miami yacht card.
It just shook up all of the dynamics.
Y'all ready for this?
Something about the Playboy brand had a little bit more of a mystique to it.
It's a ticket to the highlight.
Love, can you prepare you for?
The Playboy Murders, all new series, Monday, January 23rd at 10 on ID.
LeBron, he on vacation. How about we throw the party here in the King's house?
Oh! Hey there.
Bro. We gonna invite all the celebrities. Sweet black baby Jesus. Have you seen how out of control this party is? Are you mad at the team? We done messed up the koala. You good? What just happened?
House party. You handled the decision to go to Miami perfectly.
Nah.
Rated R, January 13th.
Growing up, I have lots of fond memories of my dad. He was a great dad.
I miss us having good conversations and just being friends.
Right now, Peter and Jarrell's relationship's toxic.
Religion gets in the way most of the time. It's impossible to trust him right now.
Every conversation goes back to this: you committed felonies against me, you did this to me, you did that to me. He doesn't recognize any of his contributing behavior as being an issue.
You're saying that's just not an issue with you.
Correct. My son grew up in the church. He was a member. He fell away from the church. Now, ideally, I would say, you know, in a perfect world, that's not such a good thing, and gosh, that's very frustrating. However, he's an adult. He can make these choices. I'm not driving him, despite what they're saying. I'm not coming after him. I'm not trying to get him to come back to the church and say, hey, you got to be in the church or else. This characterization is just not fair. It's not accurate at all.
I do believe in my heart that you love your son. And I'm curious how you feel about your dad.
I love my dad.
You do love your dad.
We've had so many, I mean, I had good spiritual experiences growing up. I'm not trying to knock the church at all. I just think that he obsesses about getting the black sheep back into the fold, so much so that, I mean, it caused problems in our relationship because my dad would call for hours and show me all this new information that he found online and check this out.
We're big believers you can't drag anybody into heaven. That's got to be a voluntary walk you make yourself, right? Right? That's kind of a concept.
Absolutely.
We believe people. It's a volunteer
I don't even know
program.
why we're talking about this, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure either because I feel like...
The reason I say this is because this picture they're painting is just not accurate, okay?
The picture you're painting that he's in a psychosis isn't
you
accurate.
overrun me every time I try and say something, so let me talk.
Because you're lying.
I'm not lying.
You are.
Okay.
Okay.
That's your opinion. I have not said, Jarrell, come with me back to church. Well,
no,
I don't
you kidnapped
say that.
me, held me hostage, and then
you tell our children to
you were going to
tell
buy me a horse if I went to church.
Them.
You were going to give me a piece of property on your property if I went to church.
So I just want to tell you, my friend, Dr. Phil, I don't think these issues really have anything to do with the faith that he practices or they practice. He has, in my opinion, he has a warped version of the way we exercise those teachings and our principles. But that's my personal opinion. I agree.
Well, let me look at this text from Peter to you. And this was on September 11th of this year. Peter, if I pay you $3,000, will you shut up? Will you love me and let me be your father again? Will you forgive me? Will you be nice to everyone in the family? Will you go horseback riding with me? Will you stop cussing at me? Will you let me see my grandchildren again? Will you give me a big hug and go out to lunch with me? Sounds like it might be worth $3,000 to get a big hug from you.
Do you know where the $3,000 came from?
What the hell is that about?
Where did that number come from?
It was a bribe, so I wouldn't press charges on him. He was trying to bribe me to drop the charges that were already being processed.
Where did that number come from?
From your mouth.
No, where did that number come from?
I don't. From your text.
You said that if I paid you $3,000, you would consider dropping the charges.
No, absolutely incorrect.
That's what this is in
absolutely
response
incorrect.
To.
You asked me how much my pain and suffering was worth.
No.
And I said, I don't know what is it worth to you? And that's exactly when you text me, if I pay you $3,000, as if that's my pain and suffering. That's what it was worth. I was 3.5 weeks without my kids in a psych unit.
That's not accurate. You said.
Well, how can this family coexist with very different ways of thinking? We'll be right back.
People gonna talk in D.C.
They're claiming the Samuels are looking to divorce.
Him and his dad are not speaking.
Wait. Welcome.
We're gonna be out on our own little island. It's called peace.
I'm gonna go before I whip your ass.
The sisterhood just went out the window.
I'm back.
And own them. And again.
Love and Marriage DC returns Saturday, January 21st at 8/7 Central.
I kneel before no one. I was a slave until I died. Then I was reborn a god.
Would you be interested in having an affair?
You need to be willing to bend the rules. You have no idea what loss is.
Sunday, it's the tell-all finale.
So are you separated?
Cody and I have separated, and I'm happy.
Can't you fix it?
The Sister Wives tell-all finale, Sunday at 10 on TLC.
I think it's my time to find love.
I want to date younger men.
I'm as sexual as I was in my teens.
Where's all the men at?
Here we go.
It just got real.
Turn it up now.
If you ever found out that Marcel cheated on you, would you leave him?
I think that was too far.
If you thought part 1 was shocking,
It became a thing, a really big thing.
I get ganged up on.
Love and Marriage Huntsville is back.
See if Melody ever held accountability for anything ever.
With more.
They're both wrong.
Reunion.
Don't play with me, girl.
Drama.
You call me all the time about other issues, do you not?
Love and Marriage Huntsville. New Reunion Part 2. Saturday at 8/7 Central.
I can't believe you're cleaning LeBron's house.
How about we throw a party here?
Are you not entertained? You done messed up the koala.
You good?
What just happened?
House Party, rated R.
You need to get over here now. Take this shot, baby.
There is nothing hotter than real, honest to goodness love.
Mama wanna tell you where it's at. I wanna get that.
I was made for this.
Get with it or get lost. You dropped the ball big time.
I'm throwing y'all my very own Miami yacht party.
It just shook up all of the dynamics.
Y'all ready for this?
Did you say that he admitted to you that he exaggerated everything to get him involuntarily committed to the psychiatric ward?
Yes, he admitted to me that he exaggerated to get him involuntarily, because he's exaggerated and lied to get him involuntarily admitted into the psych ward. And he said that with everything he put down in the papers, they would have to take him in because of what was in there.
Not say that.
He lied and said Jarrell strangled him, cut his wrists. And guess what? The whole time that I was talking to him almost every single day, multiple times a day over the phone, I never heard one time that Jarrell strangled him. He would have told me and made that clear.
Okay. Did you say to her that you embellished to make sure that they did admit him to protect him?
I did say that I wrote down everything that I thought I possibly could put in there, and some of it may have been a little bit extreme, yes.
Okay.
Extreme, down and outright lies. I never tried to cut myself.
Oh, wait a minute.
I scratched myself on a tree.
Okay.
And you said that was my suicide attempt?
No,
I think
never
you're missing
said that.
the point here. The point I was trying to make is, did he misrepresent reality in order to get you there? And let me tell you what I think for sure. I think the way people behave here is a mirror to the way they behave out there. And I'm going to tell you the good and the bad that I see here. I think you're very condescending and a know-it-all. And I think you wouldn't know cannabis-induced psychosis if it rolled up here and crawled up in your lap. I think you throw that term around in a very reckless way, and I think that's very dangerous. So I think that's very misguided. And as a result, I think you have encroached on in your son's space and gotten into his life in a way that you shouldn't. I think that there are millions of sons in America that would give their front seat in hell to have a father that loved them as much as you love your son. And I take my hat off to you for as much as you love and care about your son, and there's no but that follows that. I'm a dad. I recognize a dad that cares about their son. I have 2 sons, so I know what it's like. I know what it's like to have a son and be concerned about wanting the best for your son. I also know that he has made some really poor decisions in his life along the way. And I think you wake up at night worrying about what the next poor decision is going to be. And so you try to build a fence to protect him from himself sometimes. But I think sometimes we can try so hard to do that that we can push them away. Closed captioning provided by...
People love Denia.
It's right there in her diary. I want to be a famous actor, singer, producer. One day she goes, hey, my agent wants me to go to this cheerleading audition.
Santana wasn't supposed to be this big character on the show.
It was obvious to me that she was going to be a big star.
And then all of a sudden, Naya Rivera was reported missing.
They were praying that she would be found.
The Price of Glee, 3-part limited series, Monday, January 16th at 9 on ID.
This is your chance. You keep her alive. Save her, you can save her.
You've come this far, and you know what's out there.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
LeBron,
he on vacation. How about we do the party here in the King's house?
Oh! Hey there.
Bro. We gonna invite all the celebrities. Sweet back baby Jesus. Have you seen how out of control this party is? Are you mad at the team? We done messed up the koala.
You good?
What just happened?
House party. You handled the decision to go to Miami perfectly.
Nah.
Rated R, January 13th.
Our worth is not given. It must be made.
This is your chance. Our best shot.
Surprise! This is gonna be one of the best days of my life!
I kneel before no one.
If you ever found out that Marcel cheated on you, would you leave him?
I think that was too far.
If you thought part 1 was shocking,
It became a thing, a really big thing.
I get ganged up on.
Love and Marriage Huntsville is back
And see if Melody ever held accountability for anything ever.
with more
They're both wrong.
reunion
Don't play with me, girl.
drama.
You call me all the time about other issues, do you not?
Love and Marriage Huntsville, new reunion part 2, Saturday at 8/7 Central.
Corey said he wanted to be famous.
Fame is difficult.
I get a call from his close friend. She's like, he's gone.
The Price of Glee, 3-part limited series, Monday, January 16th at 9 on ID.
You don't have to love everything someone does to love them and to show that.
Are you trying to tell me, though, and I just need to understand this, that his use of cannabis should continue?
I would prefer that he never smoke dope again for the rest of his life.
I like that.
That would be my preference because I know what it does to the dopamine neurotransmitters of the brain. Exactly. And having had a brain injury, and then putting cannabis inside the brain and disrupting the dopamine neurotransmitters makes him subject to having more disruption from that than anyone else. So I would rather him not even be in the room with somebody that's smoking marijuana for the rest of his life. So I don't disagree with you or your value, I just disagree with your method.
I didn't have a method.
Okay. Let me make an attempt with you.
Sure.
Because of the brain damage that you've had, the TBI from the accident, whatever, you really are susceptible to a counterproductive interaction between a number of substances, including prescription medications that can disrupt the neurotransmitters that help the brain communicate with different parts. And if that gets disrupted, it's like wiring gets all messed up in your brain. And you would do yourself a great service if you would find a substitute for medical marijuana, if you would find another way to handle what you think you're handling with that. And I am more than happy to try and help you to do that. I will send you to the top brain center, in my opinion, on the globe to help you figure this out and get a handle on that if you're open to that. I won't take your keys. I won't ask you to stay for 6 months or a year. I will give you a airplane ticket to go there and a return ticket. Okay. And you can go there. It's called the PNP Center in Dallas, Texas. And I think you should really get a very thorough brain workup and see exactly where you are. Learn what you need to know and make up your own mind about what you need to do.
I really appreciate that offer, and I absolutely will take you up on that.
I think that would make a big, big difference for you. Okay. We're out of time. Troy, thank you for coming and talking about this. I also want to thank Dr. Frank Lawless and the PNP Center for offering to help Jarrell. We've talked about it, and they really feel like they can give him some really usable information and let him make an informed decision, take some pressure off of Dad here. So we'll see you next time.